Hello everyone, welcome to Sam's Summaries. This episode is a deep dive discussion into Sam Fury's summary of the book Evading and Escaping Capture by Sam Fury. It has been created with the help of AI. You can read the original summary at samfury.com.
Hey there. Ever feel like you're walking around with blinders on?
Yeah.
Today's deep dive is all about taking those blinders off and becoming hyper aware of our surroundings.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking personal security and escape, based on Sam Fury's Evading and Escaping Capture.
Okay.
I have to admit, this book had me hooked from page 1.
Interesting.
How about you?
It's fascinating how Fury combines, everyday awareness tips with techniques you'd expect in a spy thriller.
Exactly.
You'll be surprised by how much practical knowledge you can gain from this book.
I was.
Even if you're not planning on becoming a secret agent.
Totally agree.
Right.
So let's start with the foundation.
Okay.
Awareness.
Uh-huh.
The book really hammers home the idea that this is the cornerstone of personal safety.
Right.
But it goes beyond just being observant, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about actively identifying safe places
Yeah.
and potential escape routes wherever you go. Think of it like building a mental map of your surroundings, always knowing your options.
Okay.
Whether it's a fire exit in a crowded theater or a back alley you can slip into
Right.
if you sense trouble.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Having that mental map can make you feel so much more in control.
Right.
And the book also dives into digital security, which is something we often overlook.
It's easy to get complacent
Yeah.
in our digital world.
So true.
The book stresses the importance of strong, unique passwords, being cautious about what information you share online,
Right.
and even suggests using a P.O. box to safeguard your physical address.
Interesting.
It's all about reducing your digital footprint and making yourself less vulnerable to attacks.
And here's a tip that really struck me.
Right.
Sharing your travel plans with someone you trust. It's such a simple thing, but it could be a lifesaver if something unexpected happens.
It's like creating a safety net.
Right?
If someone knows your whereabouts, they can raise the alarm if you don't show up where you're supposed to be.
Okay, so being aware is step 1.
Okay.
But then the book takes it a step further
Uh-huh.
and talks about removing temptation for potential threats.
Right.
What exactly does that mean?
It's about making yourself a less appealing target,
Okay.
not advertising yourself as an easy mark.
Mm.
This can be as simple as dressing down,
Okay.
not flashing expensive jewelry or electronics,
Right.
and even maintaining a good level of physical fitness.
This is like sending a message that you're not someone to be messed with.
Exactly.
You're alert and you're capable.
Criminals often look for the easiest targets.
Right.
So projecting an image of confidence and awareness
Yeah.
can go a long way in deterring them.
There's also a whole section on securing your valuables and protecting your privacy
Uh-huh.
that I found really clever.
Yeah.
It's full of these little tricks and techniques.
Right. It's all about thinking like someone who might be trying to steal from you or invade your privacy.
For example,
Yeah.
instead of keeping your cash and important documents in your wallet,
Right?
consider using a dummy wallet
Oh.
or creating secret pockets in your clothing.
I never would have thought of that.
Oh, really?
It's like a real-life spy tactic.
Yeah.
And when it comes to hiding valuables at home, the book suggests thinking outside the box.
Avoid the obvious hiding places, like under the mattress or in a sock drawer.
Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah.
get creative.
So instead of making it easy for someone to find my valuables,
Yeah.
I should be thinking about how to outsmart them.
Precisely. The key is to be unpredictable
Right.
and to make it more trouble than it's worth for a potential thief.
Okay, let's move on to home security.
Okay.
The book has some really practical hacks
Yeah.
for making your home more secure,
Right.
even if you're not ready to invest in a full-blown security system.
One of the simplest but most effective strategies is to create the illusion of occupancy.
Even when you're not home,
Okay.
using timer lights,
Right.
leaving a radio on,
Uh-huh.
or even having a neighbor park their car in your driveway can deter potential burglars.
It's all about making it seem like someone is always watching, right?
Exactly.
Making a burglar think twice before targeting your home.
And then there are physical measures you can take,
Okay.
such as reinforcing entry points with strong locks,
Right.
installing a peephole in your front door,
Yeah.
and eliminating blind spots around your property.
It's like building layers of protection around your home.
Yeah.
Making it less and less appealing to anyone with bad intentions.
And don't underestimate the power of good old-fashioned neighborhood watch programs.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Getting to know your neighbors,
Yeah.
And looking out for each other can make a huge difference.
That's a great point.
Right.
There's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
Now, the book also emphasizes the importance of having escape plans, not just for your home,
Right.
but for various situations you might find yourself in.
Have you ever actually thought about how you would get out of your house in case of a fire?
No, not really.
Most people haven't.
Yeah,
But having a plan and practicing it with your family could be life-saving.
that's so true.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the physical steps.
Right.
It's about mental and physical preparation, too.
Yeah.
The book suggests things like practicing meditation to develop mental resilience
Yeah.
and exercising regularly to stay in shape.
That's one of the things I found most interesting about the book.
Oh, yeah.
It highlights the connection between physical fitness,
Yeah.
mental clarity, and the ability to react effectively in a stressful situation.
So it's all about being prepared.
Exactly.
Mentally, physically, and even strategically.
And speaking of preparation,
Yeah.
this is where we get into one of the most intriguing parts of the book.
Okay.
The idea of having covert survival kits and caches hidden away.
I have to admit, this part had me feeling like a secret agent. It's like something straight out of a spy movie.
Imagine having a small, discreet kit tucked away in your bag.
Yeah.
Or a hidden compartment in your clothing containing essentials like a compass,
Okay.
a small knife,
Right.
some cash,
Yeah.
and maybe even a fire starter.
Hmm.
It's like having a mini escape kit at your fingertips.
And then there's the idea of bug-out bags,
Right.
which are larger kits with supplies for a longer-term emergency. And caches of supplies hidden in strategic locations.
It's all about having layers of preparedness
Okay.
from your everyday carry kit
Right.
to a more substantial cache hidden away for a true worst-case scenario.
So we've talked about awareness,
Yeah.
making yourself less of a target,
Right.
securing your home and valuables,
Yeah.
and even having escape plans and hidden survival kits.
Yeah.
But now we're moving into the more intense stuff.
Okay.
Actually escaping captivity.
This is where the book gets really gripping.
Yeah, I bet.
It delves into tactics for stalling for time.
Okay.
Gathering information about your captors,
Uh-huh.
leaving clues for potential rescuers,
Yeah.
and maintaining your mental resilience in a truly challenging situation.
It sounds like something out of a movie.
Right.
But knowing even a little bit about these concepts could be incredibly valuable.
It really underscores the importance of mental fortitude
Right.
and a refusal to give up hope,
Yeah.
even in the direst of situations.
You're absolutely right about that. It's about that inner strength. And while we're on the topic of intense situations, the book has a whole section on car safety and escape tactics
Oh,
that I found really eye-opening.
it's a part of our lives that we often take for granted.
Uh-huh.
But think about how much time we spend in our cars,
Right.
potentially vulnerable.
What kind of car-specific advice does Fury give?
He gets into techniques for making a quick exit from a vehicle,
Okay.
even through a window if necessary.
Interesting.
And if you find yourself being pursued,
Yeah.
he even touches on tactics for disabling a pursuer's car,
Wow.
though he stresses that these should only be used as a last resort
Of course.
and with extreme caution.
It's all about having those options,
Right.
knowing what to do in a split-second decision.
Exactly.
And while we're on the subject of cars, the book emphasizes basic car safety tips we should all be practicing anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Things like always wearing your seatbelt,
Right.
having emergency supplies on hand,
Yeah.
and keeping your car well-maintained can make a world of difference.
It can.
It's about being prepared for the unexpected, even on an ordinary drive.
Now, here's a section that might surprise you.
Okay.
Escaping rooms and buildings.
Interesting.
It sounds like an action movie plot,
It does.
but it's full of practical advice.
Give us some examples.
Okay.
What kind of things does the book suggest?
It's about understanding how doors and windows work,
Oh.
looking for weaknesses,
Uh-huh.
and being able to improvise
Right.
if you need to. It even gets into the art of picking locks,
Oh, wow.
which is presented as a skill
Yeah.
that could come in handy in a tight spot.
Of course, this information is purely for educational purposes,
Of course.
not for anything illegal.
Right.
So, what are some of the methods for picking locks? Is it as complicated as it looks in the movies?
Surprisingly, no.
Oh, really?
Fury describes how you can use simple tools
Okay.
like bobby pins or paper clips to manipulate the pins inside a lock. It's fascinating how something so ordinary can be used to overcome a seemingly impossible obstacle.
It's all about thinking creatively and resourcefully.
Now let's move on to a topic that plays a crucial role in escape and evasion. Stealth movement. It's about becoming a shadow, moving silently and unseen.
That's an intriguing concept.
Yeah.
Tell us more about how the book approaches stealth movement.
It emphasizes the importance of blending in with your surroundings, using cover and concealment to your advantage, and even employing camouflage techniques. It's about understanding how to move quietly, avoiding detection by sound, and even using distraction to create opportunities for escape.
It sounds like it requires a lot of practice.
It does.
And a deep understanding of your environment.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's about becoming one with your surroundings.
And believe it or not, the book even touches on handling encounters with guard dogs. This is something most of us hopefully will never have to deal with.
Right.
But it's still fascinating to learn about.
It is.
So what's the key to evading guard dogs?
Well,
is it about being completely silent?
It's more about understanding dog behavior. The book emphasizes the importance of knowing how to avoid triggering a dog's aggression and even using distractions or deterrents to keep them at bay. And in a worst-case scenario, it touches on techniques for defending yourself against a dog attack, though these should only be used as a last resort.
It's a reminder that these skills, while fascinating to learn about, have real-world applications.
Absolutely.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's explore a topic that might seem surprising in the context of escape and evasion.
What's that?
The power of negotiation.
Negotiation.
That's not what I expected to find in a book like this.
Right. You might be surprised.
Yeah.
But the ability to communicate effectively, understand your opponent's motivations, and even influence their decisions can be incredibly valuable in a dangerous situation.
It's like using words as your weapon, right?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
The book emphasizes the importance of active listening. Truly hearing and understanding what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally.
So it's about being perceptive and strategic in your communication.
Exactly.
And it even touches on the art of detecting lies.
Oh, yeah?
Recognizing subtle cues that might betray someone's true intentions. It's like having a superpower, the ability to see through deception.
It's certainly a valuable skill to develop.
Now let's talk about resourcefulness and improvisation.
Okay.
This is about making do with what you have,
Yeah.
turning limitations into opportunities, and using your surroundings to your advantage. It sounds like a combination of creativity and problem solving.
You hit the nail on the head.
The book dives into techniques like gathering useful items from your environment, learning the art of picking pockets.
Again, purely for informational purposes.
Of course. Right. And even mastering methods for opening locked bags using simple tools.
It's amazing what you can achieve with a little bit of knowledge and a lot of ingenuity.
And that brings us to what's perhaps the most captivating section of the book. Escaping restraints.
Ah, yes.
I have to admit, this is the part I've been waiting for.
Really?
It sounds both thrilling and a little bit terrifying.
It's certainly intense.
Yeah.
The book describes techniques for escaping various types of restraints. From ropes and zip ties to handcuffs.
Oh.
It delves into methods like positioning and wriggling free.
Interesting.
Using sharp objects or rough surfaces for cutting, and even employing force or shimming techniques.
Shimming techniques?
Yeah.
What exactly does that involve?
Shimming is a technique where you use a thin, flat object to slip between the restraint and your wrist or ankle, creating enough slack to work your hand or foot free. It requires a bit of dexterity and practice, but it can be incredibly effective.
It sounds like something straight out of a spy movie.
It does, doesn't it?
Now let's dive into another fascinating aspect of escape and evasion. The power of observation.
Observation.
How does that play into escaping and evading capture?
It's more crucial than you might think. The book emphasizes the importance of using all your senses. Sight, hearing, smell, touch. To gather information about your surroundings. It's about being acutely aware of everything around you, noticing subtle details that others might miss.
So it's about honing your senses,
Yeah.
becoming more attuned to your environment.
Precisely.
And the book even provides techniques for improving your observational skills.
For like practicing mindfulness, paying attention to small details,
Right.
and even using memory exercises to sharpen your recall.
Interesting.
These skills can be applied not just in extreme situations, but also in everyday life. Being more observant can make you safer, more aware,
right,
and even more appreciative of the world around you.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's about becoming more present
Yeah.
and engaged in your surroundings.
Now, this heightened awareness is essential for another key element of escape and evasion.
Okay.
Cover and concealment.
Tell us more about how the book approaches cover and concealment.
All right, so it's about understanding how to use your environment to your advantage.
Right.
Finding hiding places, using shadows and darkness to mask your movements, and even creating distractions to draw attention away from yourself.
It's about becoming invisible.
Right.
Blending in.
Right.
Disappearing into the background.
And the book even goes into more advanced techniques like camouflage.
Oh, wow.
Using clothing and materials to blend in with your surroundings.
Okay.
Disrupt your silhouette. And even alter your scent to avoid detection.
It's like taking a page from nature's playbook.
Yeah.
Using the same tactics that animals have employed for millennia to avoid predators and hunt prey.
Precisely.
It's about adapting to your environment.
Yeah.
Becoming one with your surroundings and using the elements to your advantage.
Now let's talk about modes of movement.
This is all about choosing the right way to move.
Yeah.
Based on the situation.
Right.
Whether it's walking silently, running swiftly, crawling stealthily, or even swimming underwater.
It's about being adaptable, efficient, and always aware of your surroundings.
It sounds like it requires a combination of physical fitness.
It does.
Agility. And a deep understanding of terrain and movement.
Absolutely.
And the book even gets into techniques for moving quietly, avoiding detection by sound, and even using distractions to create opportunities for escape. It's like becoming a human whisper, moving through the world without leaving a trace.
Exactly.
And this brings us to a topic that often appears in action movies.
What's that?
Evading guard dogs.
Oh, yeah?
This is something that most of us hopefully won't ever have to deal with.
Right.
But it's still fascinating to learn about.
It is.
So the book emphasizes understanding dog behavior, knowing how to avoid triggering their aggression, and even using distractions or deterrents to keep them at bay. And in a worst-case scenario, it even gets into techniques for defending yourself against a dog attack.
Oh, wow.
Although those should obviously be used only as a last resort.
Of course.
It's a reminder that while we're exploring these concepts from a place of curiosity and learning, they have real-world applications.
They do.
And could be essential for survival in certain situations.
Absolutely.
And this leads us to overcoming obstacles. What kind of obstacles does the book cover?
Everything from scaling walls and fences to crossing rivers.
Wow.
And navigating treacherous terrain.
Interesting.
It's about assessing the situation.
Okay.
Identifying weaknesses. And using your strength, agility, and creativity to find a way forward.
It's like a real-life adventure, using your ingenuity and resourcefulness to overcome challenges and reach your destination.
Exactly.
And it's a reminder that even in the most difficult situations, there's always a way forward, a solution to be found.
Right.
If we're willing to think outside the box and push beyond our perceived limits.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it really is like an obstacle course for the mind.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But there's still so much more to unpack in evading and escaping capture.
There is.
Where should we head next?
Well, Fury dedicates a whole chapter to the art of understanding patterns.
Okay.
Think about it. Patterns are everywhere.
Yes.
In nature, in human behavior, in the way cities are built.
I'm listening.
Where do patterns come into play when we're talking about personal security?
That's a good question.
Fury emphasizes that criminals, security personnel, even everyday people, we all tend to follow routines, develop habits, and create predictable patterns.
Makes sense.
Recognizing these patterns can give you a huge advantage in any situation where you need to escape or evade.
So it's like becoming a detective.
Exactly.
Noticing those subtle cues and using them to your advantage.
Let's say you're trying to avoid someone who's following you. by observing your patterns.
Yeah.
You might notice that they always take the same ride home from work.
Okay.
Or that they tend to linger in certain areas.
Right.
This knowledge can help you predict their movements and stay one step ahead.
It's almost like having a sixth sense.
It is a bit like
being able to anticipate what's going to happen next.
And that ability to anticipate is essential when it comes to another key element of escape and evasion.
Which is deception.
It sounds a little sneaky, doesn't it?
It does.
But Fury argues that sometimes the best way to avoid danger is to make your pursuer believe something that isn't true.
Interesting.
This could involve creating a false trail, planting misleading clues, or even using your body language to project an image of confidence when you're actually feeling anything but.
So it's like using your wits and creativity to outsmart your opponent.
Exactly.
Even if you don't have the physical upper hand.
Right. Remember, escape and evasion are as much about mental agility as they are about physical prowess.
It's about being adaptable, thinking on your feet. And using every tool at your disposal.
Now let's shift gears and talk about something a bit more physical. Understanding combat and self-defense. While Fury emphasizes that avoiding confrontation is always the best course of action.
Of course.
He also acknowledges that sometimes a physical altercation is unavoidable.
So does the book go into specific self-defense techniques?
It does. But it approaches self-defense from a practical and realistic perspective. Fury focuses on simple, effective techniques that can help you disable an attacker long enough to create an opportunity for escape. He stresses the importance of targeting vulnerable areas. Using leverage to your advantage. And always being aware of your surroundings.
It's about fighting smart.
Exactly.
Not necessarily fighting hard.
And remember, this information is for educational purposes only.
Of course.
It's always best to seek professional training.
Yeah, good point.
If you want to learn self-defense techniques properly and safely.
Well, this deep dive has certainly opened my eyes.
It has.
To a whole new world of knowledge and skills.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
How much we can learn from exploring these concepts, even if we never find ourselves in a situation where we need to use them.
Exactly. It's about being prepared, not paranoid.
Right.
And it's about realizing that we all have the potential to be more resourceful, more resilient, and more aware than we think.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
So if you had to pick one key takeaway from evading and escaping capture, what would it be?
For me, it's the idea that knowledge is power.
I like that.
The more you know about the world around you,
the
better equipped you are to navigate any situation.
Right.
Whether it's a potential threat or simply a new challenge.
I think that's a great note to end on.
It is.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of escape and evasion.
My pleasure.
It's been an eye-opening experience.
Glad to hear it.
For me too, actually.
Me too.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks.
Okay.
But remember, knowledge is power.
That's right.
So stay curious, stay safe, and never stop learning.
Good advice.
Thanks for tuning in to Sam's Summaries. If you found this episode useful, let us know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com to get free access to all of Sam's original summaries, which you can download as PDFs, as well as other exclusive content. It's all completely free at samfury.com.